I welcome you all to the Principles of Marketing class. Under Unit 5, we are going to look at Channel Management. Session 5, Channel Management. By the end of this session, you should be able to give the activities involved in managing marketing channels, explain the factors to consider in selecting marketing channel, then state the 3 decisions in the development of channel strategy. Managing marketing channels. Managing marketing channels. When it comes to marketing channels, there is a need for a marketing manager to manage the channels appropriately or to apply the functions of management appropriately. Without managing these channels appropriately, you will end up choosing any channel at all for distribution of your product. And once the channels are not being managed rightly, the firm may end up losing money. The firm may end up losing its name or its brand, or it may end up losing customers. Therefore, there's a need for the firm to manage its marketing channels. The management of marketing channels requires decision-making and action in 6 areas. We will look at the 6 areas one after the other. First of all, the firm formulates its marketing objectives and strategy. This looks at the overall marketing objective. The objective has to do with what the marketing department wishes to achieve in the near future. And the strategy has to do with how they could achieve what they want to achieve in the near future. It looks at the processes, the tools, what they can adopt in order to help them achieve what they want to achieve. Secondly, they develop marketing channel strategies and objectives. After the marketing objectives and strategies have been explicitly stated, there's a need for the marketing channel objective and strategies to be stated. The marketing channel objectives actually comes under the entire marketing objective. The channel objective shouldn't be outside the box of the marketing objective. It should be in line. And there's a need for managers or manufacturers to also implement strategies to achieve the marketing channel objectives. That's how they could achieve the objectives. After, they have to look at the various channel alternatives which should be evaluated to determine the capabilities and the costs involved. Also, the compatibility with other marketing variables and their availability to the firm, how they are compatible with other marketing variables and how they could be available to the marketing firm. Next, the firm establishes its channel structure and implements the channel strategy. It establishes its channel structure and implements the channel strategy. Finally, the firm must constantly evaluate channel performance, which may lead to adjustments in one or more of the other 5 management areas above. Let us take the 6 areas one after the other. The first of the 6 areas talk about the formulation of marketing objectives and strategy. Marketing channels often represent a key dollar investment and established channel that can be difficult to change without risking lost sales volume. As a result, it is imperative that a firm develops a marketing channel objectives and strategy only after formulating its overall marketing objective and strategy. So generally, The marketing manager needs to ask this: what do I want to achieve as my marketing objective? How many people do I want to reach out to? Where do I expect to sell my product? Which types of customers do I wish to serve? What are my available resources? All these comes under the marketing objectives. Who should I consult that will help me boost my sales? They all comes under marketing objective. And in setting this objective, the marketer would have to break it down. The manufacturer would have to break the objectives down as to how the objectives could be achieved. What tactics or strategies can I adopt that will help me reach out to the objectives stated? After the marketing objective and the strategy have been stated, there's a need to develop channel objectives and strategy. Marketing channel objectives and strategy. Channel objectives should be specifically stated, measurable, and consistent with the firm's marketing objective. It needs to follow the SMART acronym. SMART stands for a measurement of a goal, where the S stands for the specific, the M stands for measurable, A stands for attainable or achievable, then R stands for realistic, and the T stands for a time bound. How can I get my objective SMART and get the ways and means of achieving those objectives? Objectives are often stated in terms of how much sales you make, the sales volume, that's how much sales you make, profitability or the profit margin, the market share or coverage, the costs involved, the number of wholesalers or retail outlets, and the geographical expansion. So the objectives of the marketing channel should include what I have just mentioned. The channel strategy is an expression of a general action plan and guidelines for allocating resources to achieve the channel objective. How can the objectives be achieved? Who are we supposed to talk to? What resources are we supposed to acquire? What are the processes we need to go through to achieve the stated objectives? The development of channel structure involves decision in 3 key areas. In coming up with a channel strategy, there's a need for a marketer to come up with 3 key areas. That is the buyer preferences, the relationship orientation, and the degree of market coverage. Buyer preferences, relationship orientation, and degree of market coverage. We will look at them. Buyer preferences. Buyer preferences are very important in determining channel strategy. It's kind of explain that understanding the logic behind letting customers buy the way they want to is a hallmark of both established marketing leaders and entrepreneurs who beat the odds of breaking into long established markets. It is very, very good to understand the logic behind customers' purchase. What is the reason? Do they just want my product to meet their needs? Do they want my packaging? It is good to understand the logic behind customer purchase. Relationship orientation. Most successful organizations try to establish strong relationship with others in their channel. Most successful organizations try to establish strong relationship with others in their channel. This is not only because it is profitable in the long run, but also because they believe that to do otherwise would be risky. This is what we call relationship orientation. I would always say that there is a need for you to have a good relationship with those you work with. The members or elements on the distribution channel should exhibit some form of good relationship. Why? Because a middleman serves a retailer on behalf of a manufacturer. If you don't have a good relationship with your channel members, they may end up tarnishing your image to customers. So it is very good to have very good relationship with them so that at the end of the day, they could sell your good image so that it would enhance sales. Also, the elements in the distribution channel can either make or unmake you. Whatever they tell the customers, they tend to believe. Market coverage. Market coverage has to do with the number of outlets used to market a product. Market coverage commonly takes one of three forms, that is the intensive, the selective, or the exclusive distribution channel, which we explained in the previous chapter, in the previous session. With intensive distribution, we talked about the fact that the product is distributed in most of the retail outlets available, or every retail outlet available. With a selective distribution, it involves selling the product in only some of the available outlets. The manufacturer selects some outlets that they can display their products on. And with the exclusive, it comes with getting one outlet in a defined geographical marketplace. We can refer from section 4. After you have come up with the marketing channel objectives and strategies, there's a need to evaluate channel alternatives. The evaluation of channel alternatives requires analysis in three related channel areas. We have capabilities and costs, channel compatibility with other marketing variables, and availability. Marketers must determine exactly who will perform the various channel activities and at what cost they will charge for the performance. Establishing marketing channels can be very expensive and difficult to reverse, so firms should carefully assess the costs and capabilities of each channel alternative before they can go in for one. The evaluation of channel alternatives often begins with an assessment of how the firm's internal resources might be used to accomplish channel activities. For one to come up with a channel evaluation, there's a need to look at the available resources that could be used to serve channel members. Also, there is a need for manufacturers or marketers to look at the costs involved in running the distribution channel. This naturally leads to subsequent examination of how different intermediaries could fit in, if at all, if we really need them. Sometimes firms join forces with others in a distribution channel just to make things work, or just to let products reach the final consumers. With the explosion of commercial applications on the internet, channel partnerships between high technology firms are popular. There are so many channel members who partner. Internet companies have turned to large retailers to increase distribution of their products and service to a wider market. The fourth phase of managing the marketing channels include determining the channel structure. How does one want the channel to look like? Should it be a straight channel from manufacturer to final consumer? Should it pass through intermediaries? The major decision here concerns whether to use a direct or an indirect channel. a single channel or multiple channels, single or multiple channels, or one of the many forms of the vertical marketing systems. The marketing manager or the manufacturer would have to determine that. Firms often mix direct and indirect channels, and many firms use or adopt the multiple channels, especially to reach new markets. Some firms don't just stick to one channel because they believe that with a single channel, you may not be able to reach out to all the existing customers and potential customers. With this, they rather go in for adopting multiple channels so that they could reach out to a larger market. 5. Implement channel strategy. The first 4 phases of managing marketing channels concentrate on planning the appropriate channel strategy and structure. We are now going to look at how the strategy could be executed or implemented. The task now is to implement the channel strategy. The full-scale implementation of a new channel strategy is often preceded by a trial period. People call it the prototype. Other important implementation tasks include setting performance expectation and creating communication networks. People look at setting the performance expectation, and after they can compare the actual performance and look at the discrepancy between the actual and the expected. Some also look at creating communication networks among the channel members. The results of a trial period may indicate that a change is warranted or needed, or just the opposite. Sometimes the results of the trial process or period would determine whether a change is needed or not. Sometimes it will be needed and sometimes there will be no need for that. A marketing channel member have become more as marketing channel members have become more interdependent, as in they rely on the channel members in the distribution channel. The setting of performance expectations has evolved into more of a joint decision process rather than one party dictating standards to another. Since the channel members interrelate or they try to fall on each other in setting a standard for your channel of distribution, it is not a single man's job. It basically involves all the channel members. Another crucial aspect of channel strategy implementation is to establish communication networks among channel members so that there will be easy flow of communication during the implementation. And when there is easy flow of communication, things become very smooth. Sophisticated computer and communications technology have greatly increased the capabilities of channel members to share important information on a timely basis, maintain goodwill, and solve problems in the mutual interest of channel members. Now, computer and internet have made it easy for channel members to communicate anytime they want, and information is passed on very easily to others to share their views. Evaluate channel performance. The evaluation of channel performance, that's in managing marketing channels, can necessitate changes in any of the other decision areas that have been explained. Evaluating channel requires attention to 4 key areas. 1. Evaluating the channel, you look at the financial performance of the channel, the working relationships with each other or the channel members. We have the ethical and legal issues, then the future plans set by the channel members. In the short run, channel members may be willing to operate at low levels of financial performance. As time goes by, financial results must be positive to sustain relationships in the channel. When they are starting or during the short run, most of the channel members may be willing to operate at low levels of financial performance. They may not have higher expectations in terms of money, but when time passes or in future dates, they begin to have bigger expectations in terms of finances. This is a distribution channel for consumer goods. It has been well explained. As we explained earlier, this has been summarized. They develop channel strategy and objective. At this stage, there is buyer preferences, relationship orientation, degree of market coverage. Then after, they evaluate the channel alternatives. They look at the capabilities and costs. They look at what happens in the internal distribution channel, the intermediaries who would help them distribute the products, the collaborations or the strategic allies who they can fall on, the product considerations, market communications, and etc. After they determine the channel structure, whether they should go in for the direct or indirect channel of distribution, whether they should go in for the single or multiple, or they should go in for any of the vertical marketing systems. Then the channel strategy is being implemented. They go through a prototype or a trial period, set performance expectations, and create communication networks. Then they evaluate the channel performance, where they look at the finances, the working relationships, ethical or legal issues, then the future considerations. In evaluating the working relationships, there are three related concepts. We have the power, the conflict, and cooperation. These concepts are very important in the evaluation of working relationships among channel members. A firm may gain power on a variety of ways and use it to enhance its positioning in the marketing channel. Also, conflict among members is a natural thing you can't do away with, and sometimes very constructive, but sometimes it can be very destructive if control measures are not put in place. Conflict is not always bad, but once it is being escalated, it can cause harm to the distribution channel. Channel power. A firm may gain power on a variety of ways and use it to enhance its position in the marketing channel. The conflict can result from poor communication as a result of a struggle over power in the channel. It can also come up as a result of not understanding objectives. Cooperation. Channel cooperation can help to reduce the amount of conflict and to resolve conflict once they do occur. Cooperation has to do with channel members cooperating with each other, balancing their views, trying to understand, trying to look at things from others' perspective in order to agree. Let us try our hands on these. List the steps in channel management. State 4 ways of stating channel objectives. Then 3. Differentiate between channel power, conflict, and cooperation. This brings us to the end of this session. I'll see you in the last session. Thank you.